All right, today we're going to take what we learned yesterday with solving proportions and apply it to similar figures. Be able to set up and solve and find missing sides of similar figures. So in order for figures, we talked about figures being congruent, which means they're the same size. That means the angles are the same size and the sides are the same size. For figures to be similar, two requirements have to be met. Corresponding sides have to be proportional. Now, to be proportional means that their sides have the same ratio. Remember that a ratio is a fraction, which compares two numbers. And then corresponding angles must, because if you take this little bitty equilateral triangle, it has angles that are all equal to 60 degrees. We can also draw a bigger equilateral triangle. It also has angles that are 60 degrees. The size of the angle didn't change, just the size of the triangle. Okay, the symbol to show that figures are similar is that little tilde. Okay, that means that they're similar, the same shape but not the same size. Means they're proportional. Okay, so first let's look at how to determine whether the figures are similar. If they are, we're going to write a similarity statement which tells you how your corresponding sides match up, and find the scale factor, which is your multiplier to get from one to the other. So we want to compare these. So if we compare AB over DE, we get 5 over 6. And I like to pull all of my numbers over onto one triangle or one figure so that it's easy to keep up with what I did. So I put this over here underneath that. So then this DF is 6, and it matches up, it corresponds with AC. So it's over 6 also. And then EF corresponds with BC, so I'm going to put 3 over 4. Well, 5 over 6 and 3 over 4 are not equal ratios, so these triangles are not similar. That's what it means that they're not the same ratio. 5 over 6 is not the same. It's not equivalent to 3 over 4. Okay, so we take these rectangles here, and E corresponds to WZ, so I'm going to put 4. I'm going to put it on top, but for no particular reason. You can put whatever you do it the same. This BC corresponds to YZ, so I'm going to put 6. And then 4 corresponds to XY, so I'm going to put 4. And 6 corresponds to this WX, so I'm going to put this 6. Now I'm going to 4 over 16 is 1 over 4. 6 over 24 is 1 over 4. And since the other two are exactly the same, we know that all of those have the same ratio. Since they have the same ratio, they are similar. So we can write a similarity statement. It doesn't matter where you start, just pick a letter. So I'm going to start up here at W. W, X, Y, Z is similar to, so then we have to start in the same place on the other rectangle. So I'm going to start here with D, D, A, B, C. So the scale YZ to get A, B, C, D, it got smaller. So my scale factor is equal to 1/4. If I started with A, B, C, D and then went to W, X, Y, Z, the scale factor would be 4. Okay, so you can set it up. So remember, a scale factor bigger than 1 means it gets bigger. Between 0 and 1 means it gets smaller. Okay, so we're going to match up our corresponding sides here. Notice how the orientation is the same. They're laid out the same. Notice how all the angles match up. So that's going to give us our corresponding sides. So AB corresponds with JK. I'm going to put my 14 on top. 21 corresponds with 12. And notice that these are 8 and 14, these are 8 and 14, so they're all going to be the same. So we don't need to look at every single one of them or write down every single one of them. We did look at all of them, they're the same. So 14 over 8 reduces to 7 over 4. 21 over 12 reduces to 7 over 4. Since they have the same ratio, these shapes are similar. So I'm going to write a similarity statement. Again, start wherever you want. That ABCD is similar to JKLM. And we have a scale factor. So if we go from small figure to big figure, then my scale factor is 7 over 4. If we wanted to go from our large figure to our small figure, it would be 4 over 7. I could take 14 and multiply it by 4 over 7, and that would give me 8. That's how you can use a scale factor. So you have options. You can use scale factors or you can use proportions to set them up. Okay, so given that ABCD, a minute ago I said it's important to notice how they match up. And actually the first time I was working through this video I made a mistake in that I matched up 25 with 24. But those are not corresponding sides. Notice that AD corresponds with EH. So you have to look at how that statement is important and how they match up. So to match up things and put them all on the same factor, right, on the same picture. So if we go from this large one to this small one, then we can put our 15 here on top. And then we can put our, actually, let me put it on the bottom so all my variables are going to be on top. That's just a choice. It doesn't matter. They can go on top or on bottom. But since I'm going to move all of these numbers over here to this shape, I'm going to let my variables be on top just because I like that better. So it'd be 25 over 15. Which that gives me my scale factor. That reduces to 5 over 3. So to go from this figure to this figure, you would multiply by 3 over. To go from this figure to this figure, you would multiply by 5 over 3. So you could take 18, multiply it by 5 over 3, and get Z. 15, 5 over 3, 14 times 5 over 3, and get every piece that's missing. Or you can set up proportions. ZAB matches up with FE, so I'm going to put the 18 underneath the Z. CB matches up with FG, so it is 24. It's similar to the 24. And CD matches up with GH, or corresponds to GH, and so it is proportional to the 21. So we set up our proportions. We can do the scale factor go from small to large is 5/3. So you could take every one of these and just multiply them out, or because you're going to do the same thing. So if you do x, it's x over 21 is equal to 25 over 15 or 5 over 3. Either one is fine. So you could just type in 25 divided by 15 and then multiply that by 21. And you would get 35. That way with proportions, or you can take 18 and multiply it by 5 over 3. That gives you Z, that's 30. You can take 24 and multiply it by 5 over 3, and that gives you 40. Now, the angle, measure of angle F. The measure of angle F, F corresponds to B. So F corresponds to B, which means F has to be the same size as B. That's the important part, is that this is 65. So angle F is also 65 degrees. And then to find W, W is 5W plus 5 is equal to 65. This expression should equal that amount. So what does W have to be so that that happens? Subtract 5 from both sides, you get 5W is equal to 60. Divide both sides by 5 and you get that W is 12. So you can either use a scale factor like I did on these last ones, or you can set up a proportion like this and get it equal. Okay? Now on this next one, notice it's ABC, which is this small triangle, is similar to ADE, which is this big triangle. So if we separate this into two triangles so that it's easier to see, and that's important because we need to see AB is 4, AC is X, A, B, C, and this is ADE. Then BC is Y, and then AD. We need to look at how long this whole thing is. AD is 10, 4 plus 6. DE is 20, and AE, this is the tricky part, it'd be X and 9. Well, we did 4 plus 6. Well, we don't know what X is, so it's going to be X plus 9. So X plus 9. From there, you can set up your proportions. So it would be 4 over 10. And I like to go in again and pull everything to the same triangle. Like that. So now all of my proportions are set up. So that's why that's nice. So 4 over 10 is equal to X over X plus 9. And 4 over 10 is equal to Y over 20. And then you can solve those proportions. For the sake of time, I'll let you finish solving those. We did the work for that yesterday. And then ABC is similar to EDC. So what's important is to match this up. So AC corresponds to EC. So that means V is going to go underneath the 35. AB corresponds to ED, which means it's going to go underneath the 40, and BC corresponds to DC, which means that W is going to go underneath the 30. Okay, use this similarity statement so that you can figure out how to set these up. Then set up your proportions to solve for your missing pieces. 35 over V is equal to 40 over 32, and again, you could put all your V on top, your 32 on top, your W on top. And then 40 over 32 is equal to 30 over W, and then you can use your cross multiplication property to solve for that.